Welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus. I am Garrett Weinzerl. He is Kyle Ferguson, and we are here to talk all about Heroes of the Storm. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing great. Garrett, can you imagine that to get Masters, you have to get really, really good?
You're dropping bombs on me, man. I don't know if I can handle this.
Isn't that fantastic? I'm actually pretty excited. I got to Diamond 2 this week and hit just a wall. A complete wall where my tanking skills cannot carry anymore. In fact, Diamond 3, with Gorath on my team as well, was pretty easy to coordinate, honestly. I'd go in, I'd say, Gorath, get here. He'd dive in. On Kerrigan, too, no one really understood what Kerrigan and Tyrael were up to quite yet. And we just completely schooled games and games and games in a rows of wins on Friday. Then came the Weekend Warriors, and it was a completely different battlefield. People just picking things, why not? And we got into Diamond 2, and you have to be able to draft, which means you have to have a big staple. No longer our nice little rule of having a pretty 3 was holding. And it's time to carry again. Tanks are okay. Supports, they're nice if they're clutch. But the carry characters have to carry again. So I'm so excited today because I have to get amazing. And I'm glad that that's the barrier stopping me from getting an actual place where I should be amazing to access it. Everything's working as intended.
Nice. So does it feel like ye olden Starcraft days all of a sudden?
How do you mean by that? Other than, of course, everything we're excited about today.
No, it's not where I was going at all. It was literally you have hit a skill wall, and you have to break through your own personal skill wall.
Ooh, very much so. In fact, the comparison to Zerg is almost perfect. I could never get past Platinum as Zerg because Zerg takes advantage of mistakes. You left your little wall down, you didn't place that Zealot perfectly, and guess what? I ran in with Zerglings and destroyed your mineral line. As you get higher and higher league in StarCraft, people stop making mistakes and there's nothing to take advantage of. So Diablo now is off the table because guess what? For Diablo to work, people have to make mistakes. They have to stand in the poop. They have to put their backs to wall. They have to let me stun them. They have to let me run up, grab them, flip them over my head, and push them back. Like, these are all mistakes other people have to make. And now it's carry time. And let me just say, I'm on a 5-game winning streak right now with Li Ming, and I have gone beast mode, and I am having a blast.
That is awesome, man. I'm happy to hear that. I've never heard anyone so happy to hit a wall in progression before.
Oh, it's frustrating. Learning is a hard thing, and your ego, as well as just, the boredom of grinding or learning, is definitely a barrier. But as you get past that, it's the tower defense thing. It's what seduces me about those kind of games. I love losing. Now this game continues to have value for me. If I beat a tower defense, guess what? Never playing it again. But there are games, there's still Warcraft 3 mods that I play to this day because I've never beaten them.
Huh. Wow. And it seems like the Heroes team has given you a bit of a gift, right? The season's been extended.
Man, I'm a horse orthodontist this week because I'm looking that gift horse right in the mouth. Basically what it did was it invited back everyone who forgot to place. And after that announcement, things went completely wild and stopped making any sense. Oh, yes, placements in Diamond 2. Just people playing for the first time being like, oh, I completely forgot about it. Let me try to get some... Or maybe I'll grind out Masters. I wasn't planning to. So we went through this environment of complete tryhards into a much more casual, you don't play this game for fun kind of mentality. And it's really weird. It's a very tough thing to face at Diamond 2.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bit of annoying, but it's good for our community.
It'll pass. It's great that people are playing. I'm not upset about those things. But returning players do have lacking skills, and there is a clear 100% divide between those who play their 3 mains and how well that can carry you to Diamond 3, and those who are now in Diamond 2, Diamond 1, or on a bit of a bad loss streak for Masters. Basically, it's a pool of Masters players who all know how to draft many, many different heroes and have many recent hours placed into this game. And if someone shows up and says, hey, I'm that Medivh guy that first picks Medivh, we're all going to have a bad time, regardless of how skilled that guy may be. He didn't think of the comp. He didn't think of the map.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's good to know. You know what else is good to know if you're listening to this and you're a fan of the show and a part of the Into the Nexus community?
Oh?
We finally got off our butts and figured out a date that works for both of us to have our going away party for season 1, to get together and play a bunch of Team League games with our fellow listeners so that we can all go get our mount if you haven't already. Because as you know, Kyle, you will get that mount even if you place into bronze in Team League.
That's true. And it's a little ridiculous that the solo queuers need to get to platinum. But this means if you want yourself a Stegosaurus, then you should show up.
A lightning Stegosaurus, no less.
Yeah.
It's an elemental lizard Stegosaurus. So next Friday, everyone. So if you're listening, if you are within the sound of my voice and you're not afraid of the North American server, next Friday on September 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so Eastern Time, we will be streaming all of our placement matches for Team League, which both of us, you and I both, Kyle, have neglected for Season 1.
Sure.
Haven't done them. So we will be queuing with 3 other Into the Nexus patrons, and we'll be swapping that roster out every game until we complete our placement matches. But that is not all. We will be encouraging all of you to get together in the AMove chat room. All you have to do is type /join. Make sure you put a space and then AMOVETV to join the AMove chat room in game to create your own teams, because we're going to be bringing people in and bringing people out. So get your own 5-mans together and let's all get in there and get our elemental thunder lizards.
Basically, let's assault the system next Friday on the 26th of August.
Did I say September?
Whatever. It's not a big deal. Months don't matter to people who are house hunting.
Shut up. Thanks, Kyle. Thank you for saying that. This man is dumb because he's adulting too hard.
That's exactly what it is. But I want to spam the system. I want so many Into the Nexus viewers, A-movers online that we get to fight each other. Wouldn't that be delightful? And let's fill out that system. Every time we finish a game, we'll drop party. We'll invite 3 more people on. And hey, if you're not part of our group, join the fun. Grab some other folks. And let's get some mounts.
Indeed. So I'm looking forward to that, guys. So it'll be a good time. We'll be streaming the whole darn thing. So, go over to twitch.tv/AMoveTV if you want to watch. We'll have the chat room there as well. But if you want to get in on the action, you want to be in-game, you want to be in the AMove in-game channel, and we're going to be having a good damn time. So with that in mind, Kyle, there's been a few announcements this week. I know it didn't seem like they were big announcements because they were made during the most unprofessional stream ever from a really big convention. But there was some big news. Don't have bumpers today, by the way. XSplit is being a beast and causing all kinds of problems. So we don't have those. So we're just going to talk into the next section, which is this week's Heroes of the Storm news. And the big news is, Kyle, we're getting a big in-game event like we thought we were never going to get again.
Yes, the kind they said was too taxing on the team to do yet again. But it seems they've given themselves a little bit of leeway, made sure that those who may not be into StarCraft have something else to look forward to.
Yes, I actually like this quite a bit. So Machines of War will be the next big event in the Nexus. It's starting, is it coming in with the new season? Yeah, it must be, because that's when Alarak is coming in. So it'll be starting with the new season, which is on September 13th. And Alarak, the next hero coming to Heroes of the Storm, will be released then as well. Did you get a little excited when they announced Alarak?
I'm a little excited, man. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to love Alarak, despite his just amazing performance in Legacy of the Void. But it's voiced by Q from the old Star Treks. And to say those are the old ones, I'm sure, dates me a bit.
Well, it technically is now that we have a new Star Trek.
Yeah, but he's awesome. And he's going to be an assassin. And then we'll get Zarya, because they wanted to do sort of a tech thing, a StarCraft thing, but they didn't want to burden people. Last time we had this event, it was Butcher, Johanna, Monk, I believe. Or actually, did we even get Leoric in there? Was it 4 heroes, or did we get Monk before? They were all punching each other in that little cinematic.
Monk was part of that. Leoric was part of that.
Johanna and Butcher, yeah, we got 4 heroes during that thing.
Holy Crap. Yeah. So for the most part, this is a Starcraft event. Zarya is the only non-Starcraft item coming with this whole big event. We're getting new battlegrounds as well. We'll talk a little bit more about Alarak in a second, but I want to talk about the battlegrounds right now because we're getting two. They are both StarCraft themed, and I am as happy as a clam, Kyle. We're finally getting our StarCraft battlegrounds. Braxis Holdout, nonetheless, we will actually be unleashing waves of Zerg minions into lanes.
It's awesome. It's kind of haunting though that all these other IPs had to be adjusted, and here it's just like, well, they're StarCraft assets. And you're like, well, it just looks like StarCraft now. That's great, right? But
that's what I wanted. That's what I've been clamoring for this whole time. It's built in the damn StarCraft engine. Give me some StarCraft maps.
Now they did give some really cool flavor things on them. I love the sort of junk Zerg on this map, and how like the Ultras have like half grafted, I don't know, like bits of cars stuck in their blades. But you straight up control points, almost Dragonshire-esque, but the longer you stand on, the longer you control both, the more your bar goes up. Whoever reaches 100 triggers it first, so if one team gets it to 25, then they lose both points. You still have 25% of a summon, but the enemy team, if they hold it up to 100%, will get 100% of a summon. And a 100% summon looks like 4 Ultralisks, 3 Guardians, and a ton of Zerglings, and some Hydralisks. It's pretty cool to watch this thing have at a wall, and it looks like it's pretty painful.
It is extremely cool. This is all I ever wanted, Kyle. This is all I ever wanted from Heroes of the Storm. So now because we're never happy, I can already start getting excited about the fact that a Warcraft map seems to be sorely lacking now.
Well, so is an Overwatch map, maybe, but I agree with you. Clearly, if this is going to be a thing, by the way, a thing in the summer, is this even video gaming? I remember sitting around forever, the summer wait. Everyone always complains about that. Nothing for the kids to do. They have to go outside and do sports or something.
Well, that was before games as a service. So
that's true.
It's a little bit different. So we know when we're getting Braxis Holdout. It will be hitting the PTR on August 29th. So that's not very far away.
No.
In just less than 2 short weeks, we will get on the PTR and try out Braxis Holdout. Warhead Junction is the other StarCraft 2 themed battleground. We do not know the release date, but we do know the whole theme of it is ghosts dropping nukes, basically. It's a nuclear testing facility for the ghosts. So, dude.
Not only that, but when you collect one of these little nodes, one of these little warheads, it is yours. 100% yours to cast. And it's big. I mean, these things take down the towers, your basic front towers, to about 1/4 of their health on a single use. And they don't have to be used in certain areas. You could go completely with this thing on your own core if you want. It wouldn't do any damage because it's friendly. But
yeah,
it's
you can drop it anywhere is what you're saying.
Yes, it's a little scary, isn't it? Giving people that kind of power. Granted, for the most part, nobody gets in the terror and goes, what? It just wanders off to the wrong side of the map. There's an experience that comes with it. But this individuality does frighten me a little bit.
There's going to be a lot of yelling in chat. Drop it on this. No, drop it on that.
Don't you know what's most effective to do X on day one? And you're like, well, no one knows what's most effective, dude. Let's have some fun.
Let's drop it at a team fight and see what happens.
Could be cool.
But I'm very excited. So I have to... So we've got one map where the whole theme is to unleash Zerg. We have another map where the whole theme is to drop nukes. Kyle, if you were designing 2 StarCraft 2 maps, was there a theme they missed? Because for me, this is like the 2 things I think I would want more than anything else.
They're most recognizable, right? I mean, Braxis Holdout is a straight-up Zerg Dominion laboratory of sorts, and Warhead Junction's it's the junk piles that we've come to know through StarCraft 2 more. But, you were always visiting pretty rundown places in the Cthulhu sector. There is maybe a lack of Protoss, but then again, hey, we get Alarak, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you get a Zerg map, you get a Terran map, and you get a Protoss hero. And I would argue we already have enough Protoss in this game. So I think the Protoss are just fine.
Yeah, he's a bit blady, isn't he? But he's got a lot of flavor. More on that later. But the event for this event is pretty darn cute, actually. At the start of the game, there's going to be some sort of minerals lying around your core, and you have to destroy SCVs before they can take it away.
I love that.
Gotta stop the SCV rush, man.
You have to. You absolutely do. I mean, why couldn't they have been? Why can I think of Protoss? What are they called?
Probes?
Probes. My God, what's wrong with my brain?
Well, we are going to Terran maps here. In fact, even on Braxis, though we're controlling these Zerg, both sides of the map are Terran.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, I'm glad that the event is coming back. I loved the Treasure Goblin event from the Eternal Conflict that we had last year. That was fantastic. So bring this right on, man.
The monkey event was cute too, if nothing else but for the gold, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And I got to beat up on monkeys because I don't like monkeys. So
yeah, they're creepy. Lemurs are cool though.
Lemurs are cool. Monkeys are not. Except Winston, who is an ape.
Yes, that's right.
So
Craggle butts, man. That's what really bothers me.
Yeah, so with Alarak, that makes our 4th Protoss?
Yeah, Tassadar, Zeratul, Artanis, and now Alarak. Not maybe the most creative choice.
No.
But if we go back in time to Legacy Void's release, the clamber, the hollering for Alarak to be added to Heroes of the Storm was clearly heard, and Dustin Browder was more than happy to appease everybody.
Yeah. Well, he was the best character in that entire expansion.
Oh, he stole the show. He's Megatron, right? Everyone loves Optimus, but it's those episodes where there's a greater evil and Optimus and Megatron have to reluctantly come together and fight as teammates. And they're doing like cool combos, right? They're like high-fiving while they do a twist, and one like throws the other one the sword. And they work so well together, and they're like, we should work together all the time. And he's like, no. And it's the best part.
Yeah. So there's some more cosmetic kind of fun things I just have to get your thoughts on, Kyle. On a scale of there's no way you're not excited to you're really, really way more than you even thought you would be excited. How excited are you for the Ultralisk Butcher?
Extremely excited. Lots of people say it's doofy.
I think it's an extremely cool looking skin.
I think it's fantastic. I think it holds on to his flavor, but gives him the look of an Ultralisk. You won't be too confused when you see him charging you. Plus, I mean, they don't even have to like redo the voice lines, right? It's all just a bunch of grunting and roaring.
Yeah. That said, I feel like a Nubarak could have very easily gotten an Ultralisk skin as well.
Ooh, that would have been fantastic. But they were probably concerned with the overlap because there is actually an Ultralisk in this game on Kerrigan's kit.
Yeah. And speaking of Kerrigan, dude, that Queen of Ghosts skin?
It's pretty nice. There's a lot of legendary skins coming with this.
There's adding so much. And then you've got the Tron motorcycle mount coming. And it's not even just Tron. The final red skin basically just looks like it came straight out of Akira.
The Raider Rexar is rather adorable, but I have to just lay everything down and say the best part of this is the Herald of N'Zoth.
I knew you were going to say that.
Mind Flayers from Dungeons & Dragons, man. It's my original fandom.
The second I saw that, I was just like, oh my God, Kyle's just done.
Oh.
He's laying on the ground out of breath. Like, I can't handle the fandom overload right now. It's a bunch of StarCraft stuff. Yeah, Zarya's cool too. But then they lay on you basically a Cthulhu hero.
Oh, fantastic. Alarak looks cool by himself, so I'm gonna have the same battle I have with Space King Leoric. I love 100% neutral Leoric. Just boning it up. It looks great.
Boning it up. Somebody please cap that. But yeah, I'm bring on Machines of War. I'm also really glad that events aren't over because this is exciting the hell out of me.
I agree. And, some people just on the base level might be a little upset that this event isn't their game, isn't as maybe flashy as the previous iteration, or maybe that, even Zarya might be a little too one-to-one from her Overwatch character. Seems like an odd complaint to me because these sort of events Bring people to this game. Starcraft players are going to play Heroes of the Storm for the first time or again.
Right. And I don't get that at all for Zarya. That was the thing I was the most impressed by with Tracer, was how much she felt like Tracer in a different game.
Yeah, and she kind of does. She has actually 2 heroics, but she does sort of embody the flavor of herself in that first-person shooter.
Yeah, and I do like that we're getting a non-StarCraft hero in a pretty much overall StarCraft event that does leave the doors open for them in the future. They don't have to paint themselves as much into a corner if they do want to do one of these events. So more power to them, because Eternal Conflict was fantastic. And this is shaping, by the look of this is going to be a really good kind of breath of fresh air into Heroes of the Storm. So I'm really excited about this as well.
Well, everything is happening on September 13th. The new season will start, Season 2. Alarak will come out. There will be a bundle that is available for purchase on that day that has every skin in it. Or you can wait additional weeks, and each week they will release one set of these skins by itself. But if you want everything from the get-go with the bike and the weird dog they keep redoing, I don't know about that. But hey, I'll just think of it as free, right? That'll tide me over.
Don't usually buy big packs that are mostly just skins and stuff, but this is tapping into a deep core of my fandom, so it's going to be hard for me to walk away from this one.
And then Zarya will be on September 27th. We have no idea when Warhead Junction's coming out. Braxis Hold is going up on that PTR on the 29th and will be available on the release of Season 2.
Yep. Bring it on. Let's dive a little bit deeper into Alarak before we continue. We do know all of his abilities and everything, and we'll get to try him very soon. So let's just break it down. He has Discord Strike. That's his Q ability. Which it activates after half of a second of a delay. And then enemies in front of him take a good amount of damage and are silenced for 1.5 seconds.
Basic ability silence.
Yeah.
After a delay, I don't know if you hit Tracer with this, but I was very excited to see who would get silences on their main kit after Dahaka came out with the silence, and a single target silence too on his heroic ability.
Yeah. Telekinesis on W, you get to create a force pushing yourself and all enemies hit from the targeted point towards the targeted direction. It also deals 48 damage to enemies. This looks fun.
Yeah, one of our main concerns with Alarak being an assassin was going to be, can he close distances? And he can in 2 different ways. Telekinesis to push yourself towards the target if you line it up behind you, or behind the target that's in front of you to push them towards you, or whatever kind of cute things you may come up with in the meantime. Very low damage, but lots of cool ways to augment this through talents.
Yes, absolutely. On E, he has Lightning Surge, which deals 90 damage to an enemy and all enemies between you and the target. 75% of the damage is dealt to enemy heroes. Of the damage dealt to enemy heroes is returned as health. So he has some self-sustain.
Again, very important thing on a kit if we're going to move away from Thrall.
Yeah.
And I'm not dissing Thrall. I'm just saying Thrall makes up a core component of many comps. And when we're watching esports, things can get a little repetitive. With another sustained assassin in the game, it could just change the face of things.
Yeah. Shall we talk about the heroics?
Absolutely.
Shall we talk about Counter-Strike coming to Heroes of the Storm?
We can, yes. That is the name of it.
I could not help it. Counter-Strike is one of his heroic abilities. He becomes protected and channels for 1 second. If an enemy hero attacked Alarak during that time, he sends a shockwave forward that deals 250 damage.
So when you Counter-Strike, you basically cross your arms, give a giggle, a hearty sailor's laugh like Alarak can do. And if anybody hits you, this cone that you set up at the initial timing of the cast will shoot out in front of you. It doesn't respond. If 5 people hit you, you don't get bonus waves. If 1 person hits you, you don't do a weaker wave. Anybody touches you, you do damage in front of you.
It's going to be a bit scary fighting against Alarax, knowing that that's how it triggers.
And he's protected during this.
Yes.
So he's negating some damage for that second and then unleashing it in this wave. It's kind of exciting.
Yep. Deadly Charge is his other heroic, which after channeling, he charges forward, dealing 200 damage to all enemies in the path. Distance is increased based on the amount of time channeled, up to a total of 1.6 seconds.
And it goes pretty far, and this will be your main gap closer. Telekinesis might be able to do it for you, but this, I think, will be the really exciting one, and you're able to control how far you go by stopping it early and charging out for a little less damage.
Yeah. On these... Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to just jump to level 20 real fast, because you can take both heroics. When you get to level 20, if you picked Counter-Strike or Deadly Charge, one of your level 20s is to get the other ultimate you did not take at 10, and it takes over your trait button.
Yeah.
So you have R and D. You will get both, if you want it, Counter-Strike and Deadly Charge.
Really cool. What I was going to say is look at those cooldowns on the heroics, because they're quite low.
Yeah, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Imagine if you have both, right? That's exciting.
I dig it. I'm excited about Mr. Alarak. Were there any other talents that stood out to you? Granted, I don't think anything stands out as much as taking both damn heroics at level 20, but anything else you wanted to mention before we moved on?
Well, we got to talk about his trait, because this is really what makes some of his talents so interesting. His trait, Sadism, Alarak deals 100% more ability damage to enemy heroes. And on the surface, that seems a little lame. Like, oh, cool, why not just give me flat damage across my entire kit and make me do 100% bonus damage to heroes all the time? But what happens is, as you go through your talent tree, you will make choices. And they're often convenience choices or laning choices. You're gonna be able to take Alarak from this very hero fight centric guy and put a talent into him maybe that increases the range of his Discord Strike, so he can hit further out. It's a bigger cone, but in order to get that talent that makes things easier, you sacrifice 10% of your sadism. Now you're down to 90% bonus damage to heroes. Or you might want telekinesis to push people further, push you further. And you have to sacrifice sadism to get that benefit. So there's going to be really cool changes between maybe our easy-to-play, more lane-oriented Alaraks. Oh, we're missing a specialist. Let me transform Alarak from this hero killer into someone who can lane better. Or these sort of super assassin players who won't sacrifice a bit of their damage, but have very little presence in lane.
So are you saying you have to become less of a sadist to gain some utility?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You know, if you want to help out your team a little bit, be a little less self-centered maybe.
Fair enough.
He's got a talent at 13. Whenever an enemy or an allied hero, just allied hero, dies nearby, your sadism bonus is increased by 8%. This stacks up to 40%. So
I love the flavor behind that.
Yeah, everyone around him is dying, and he's just getting pissed. And keeps coming. More damage. He also has...
I think that he's enjoying it, and that's making him fight better in battle.
Oh, well, he's still alive, right? He's so full of himself that, of course, everyone else would die. He's the hero who's going to win the day.
Yep.
Last Laugh is a level 20 ability you can get where you can remove all roots, slows, and damage over time effects and teleport to a chosen location. Upon using this ability, your health is reduced to 1.
Yeah.
So maybe a sweet like Abathur slap kind of move, or maybe just get the heck out on a 20-second cooldown, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Gul'dan's kind of frustrating when he gets to 20 because he can always instantly teleport away.
It depends on the distance he can teleport, I think.
Right. All we know is...
Just you're at 1 health. I mean, if anything happens, anything at all, if you teleport too close to a minion, you're dead.
Yeah. But could be neat. Barely getting away. Here comes 1 health Alarak across the map.
Although it would be the best, like, BM in the game when you know you're winning. You know, right before the end, you're just like, I'm going to last laugh and keep fighting.
Oh, right. Well, you got to make the picture, right? Every Abathur knows you got to make that picture. So let's say you die early, they take the core, and you spawn just in time. Get in that picture, man. 1 health. Let's do this. There's also another really cool one at 20 here, Hasty Bargain. Cooldown 20 seconds. Activate to permanently reduce your Sadism bonus by 4% and reduce the cooldown of all your abilities. So at level 20, you can start...
Reset the cooldown of all your basic abilities.
Yeah, so you basically just sack your bonus over and over again, but you'll have another go at things, a reset.
Yeah.
Leaming it up a little bit.
I'm not sure how that one's going to work out.
Well, in other MOBAs, we have the feature to buy back. If you die, you can exchange your gold to res earlier, and it's very expensive. So I would assume this would be used in the same way. You'd have to be very cautious and make sure that you're not just spamming this. And if you don't get the kill, you're going to reduce your overall damage over time.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, very cool. We're not going to do a deep dive into Zarya since she is so far out. We will we'll jump back into Zarya once she's once a little closer to her release. So again, she'll be coming out on September 27th. So expect to hear us do a deep dive into her talents and abilities, probably in the middle of next month. Wouldn't you say?
I think so. But there are some very exciting things here. It is a ranged warrior, and it'll be our second, Rexar being the first. She does have her protective shields for both herself and an ally. These are how you gain your trait. You have no mana at all. You start at 0 energy by absorbing things in your barrier, which is a protection shield, so you can be stunned, just like Protect from Medivh. But the damage that absorbs goes on to add to your damage, just like Overwatch.
Yep.
And at level 16, you can spec it so that your shield ally gives cleanse, making her the very first warrior to have cleanse on her kit.
I'm excited for Zarya. Not a hero I am a huge fan of in Overwatch. I like tanking, but outside of playing with friends where they can hear you and you can coordinate, it's not my favorite thing to do. I prefer Reinhardt. I prefer Roadhog. I'm very excited about Zarya in the realm of Heroes of the Storm.
And I think she will suffer from the same thing she does that you just mentioned in Overwatch. It's maybe not the most telegraphed thing. Reinhardt, big ol' shield, walking real slow. What should we do? Get behind Reinhardt, right? There's no questions. But who do I shield? Is Genji going to make use of that shield? Those are things that are better used in a controlled environment. But she does look pretty exciting here. I mean, she has Tychus attack speed, but with a straight line splash.
Yeah.
22 damage a hit at level 1, so it's not a lot, but you can imagine if you line up your splash nicely, if you create some interesting angles in there, you can clear decently, particularly with talents down the road.
Yeah. Plus, and I don't know, I think she's going to be more telegraphed just because it's an isometric game. It's a lot easier to not notice things that are going on in a first-person game.
That much is true. And she does spend the majority of her time, from the videos I've seen from Gamescom, at maximum energy. It's very easy to reach that point, and of course that means that you're doing maximum damage. You have a maximum damage bonus going on in the background, and she's got 2 heroics, Graviton Surge and Expulsion Zone. So one does exactly what does in Overwatch, the other one pushes people out, suck people in or push them out.
Yep. It's a good way to add a little bit of variance, because in the game of Heroes, we're used to that. We're used to making choices on our abilities. Even though that doesn't exist in Overwatch, I think that's fine. I think it's a good kind of license to take with a character.
I agree.
So, well, let's talk about a new game system that will at some point be coming to Heroes of the Storm, the MVP system. And this was, we found this out from Chew8's Gamescom stream. There's a ton of this going on at Gamescom over the weekend, and it's cool in theory, but it sure made actually figuring out information kind of a pain in the butt. But there were a lot of personal streams going on from the floor of Gamescom. If you're not aware of Gamescom, it is a massive, massive gaming convention in Germany. And that's been going on all week. And a lot of developers have been showing up on these streamers' channels and giving information away while playing games, while rock bands are performing with max volume. And I've been sitting here just shaking my fist at it. I'm like, can you just give me a proper press conference with some bullet points and slides? Thank you. But doesn't matter. We got some information about the MVP system, which is basically to address the issue of individual performance and making your top players that are bringing the most to the table feel special and recognizes them for their achievements in the game. So this is it's sounding similar to the voting system from Overwatch, Kyle.
Definitely. The game is going to hand select through its system the MVP that it'll then show to you in some form. We have no idea if we get to watch a little movie of your cool event, if it's just going to be the little character art flying on screen and flying off. Who knows? After that is over, though, you will go on to see various awards, maybe like highest kill streak, most coins turned in on Blackheart's Bay, little tiny awards just to show who was contributing where, perhaps. And then, to finish it all off, will be an upvote feature, just like Overwatch. And if you get the most upvotes, you get some sort of something that they wouldn't say.
Yes, exactly. Who knows? Some type of reward. Who knows? Maybe it's gold. Maybe it's XP. Time will tell. But also, they did say that in their internal tests, it is spread evenly from assassins, tanks, supports, and specialists. MVP is not just always assassins getting kills.
Sweet Ariel reses, right? Just like Overwatch.
Exactly.
Gazlo walking back to his turrets.
And apparently this will be coming in with the release of Season 2.
That's what they say.
So exciting stuff. I'm kind of stoked to see this. That is one of my favorite features of Overwatch. It just feels so good. Even at the end, like if you lose, unless you lose really bad, and all four MVPs in Overwatch are on the opposing team, or is it 5? Am I miscounting? Doesn't matter. But most of the time, even when you lose, some of your teammates end up on the voting board. It's a good way to fight the tilt.
I agreed. The matches in Overwatch are so short, and often the objectives are so low flash. Like you just kind of park the car, and it goes, "You won," and you're like, "Why? Did we get the glove out of the car, and then we put on the glove, and then beat their butts?" Like I don't know why we're celebrating here, but the MVP system allows a rather anticlimactic ending to become something rather exciting.
Absolutely. So I think this will be a great addition to Heroes of the Storm.
We also learned that Grandmaster is going to go down from 500 people to only 200 people. And promotion matches will now bank the points. So if you reach promotion and you succeed, you will have banked those previous points that you lost upon reaching promotion. And it will not work this way for demotion maps. If you get a demotion, it'll just be the flat score. You won't bank any points. So promoting will be easier than demoting in a sense.
Cool. Well, bust out those extra special velvet ropes for the Grandmasters because there's not going to be nearly as much of them.
No, but that seems healthy.
Yeah. I don't expect I will ever make it. So this doesn't supremely affect me in any way, shape, or form.
It's a bit much, yeah. So there is a window. And if the Masters climb goes well, we'll see if we try for this. There's a window when the season first starts up for Joe Schmoes like myself to get into Grandmaster. If you win real quick, you can accrue enough points to reach Grandmaster. But right now, the Grandmaster at the very top is sitting on about, last time I checked anyway, 65 wins of points. You don't really dethrone that easily.
No. I don't know what you talking about, Kyle. You just get in there with Gorath, you guys dive in, and you're good.
You just say, nobody needs to work ever. Let's get this done.
Just win. Just win the game, Kyle. Come on. Isn't that helpful information to give you?
Seriously, why aren't you carrying? Carry more. You missed lethal.
Carry harder. You missed lethal. Oh, God. Anyways, so that's interesting. We also found out that there will be a large Vala overhaul coming. Again, we'll dive more into this when it actually comes to the game. But if you want to find out, this was detailed on Grubby's stream, and all of the information is on the Heroes of the Storm subreddit right now.
Basically, to sum it up, shared traits are going away. Talents that are generic, like Spell Shield, are disappearing from everybody slowly. And this is a big, big version of that. Vala's getting a pretty heavy rework. In fact, we now have the award for the biggest jump in talents, with Rancor now moving to a level 20 ability.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, then. I haven't been playing Vala for a while, but that used to be my favorite build was the auto attack build whenever it called for it. So this seems a little nuts, but like I said, haven't been playing her in a while. As you talked about, having current hours logged on heroes is something very important. So bring it on. I'm ready to relearn Vala.
She's in a weird place right now, and I'm hoping this can maybe put her back on. I'm afraid, man. It's like the Johanna players. My Johanna's okay. I will never beat a Johanna who said day one, I love Johanna. And Vala's been out since the release of the game. And there are some dudes, and you see them, and you check that profile, and you go, oh man, this guy loves Vala.
Yep. I agree. So again, there was so much to discuss this week. We had to kind of be like, is this coming in anytime soon? No, it's a few weeks out. Okay, we'll talk about it later. So we will dive back into this when the Vala rework comes to the live game. But if you want to see it now, if you're being impatient, go to the Hero subreddit and check it out. It was posted by Balian, except for the A at the end is a 4. So
we'll see. I'm curious to know what other gems might be hiding throughout the system. I know on Raynor that one of his level 13 talents has been moved up and reduced in power to level 4, Relentless Leader, where you're able to knock back if you get a stun, which means you will be ready to interrupt mosh pits before mosh pits comes out. I mean, Raynor is one of my main counters to ETC, and to have that moved up so far is a pretty big buff to that particular counter pick. And those may be sprinkled across other heroes that people simply at Gamescom didn't feel like testing because who's going to try out Nova? I didn't hear anything was new about her. Maybe she's completely different. We'll have to see. Again.
Yeah. We will find out. Well, let's thank our patrons before we take a couple emails. If you guys are out there, if you're listening into the Nexus, if you like what we're doing here and you want to support the show, check out patreon.com/ITN. That's where you can go and support the show. This episode, we wanted to thank these patrons. Thank you to Justin V. Thank you to John J. M. Barrett C. Broska, Andrea B. David P. Andrew, and Mike O. D. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. It means a lot to us. And also, just reminding you, next Friday, the 26th, right? Yep, 26th. I'm not going to say the wrong month now. So August 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us on the stream. We're going to be doing a ton of Team League and bringing folks in. So, and Kyle, you'll actually be posting more details about that on the Patreon tomorrow, correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. Keep your eyes and ears peeled over to patreon.com/ITN. Now let's take some emails. And to remind you folks, you can always send emails to itncast@gmail.com if you have a question, a comment, something you want us to discuss here on the show. And our first email comes to us from one of our patrons, Shyless, who writes, "Hey guys, long-time listener, first-time emailer." That's a word, right? I believe it is.
Yeah.
Goes on to compliment us. Thank you, sir. And he said, "I consider myself a decent player, currently sitting at Plat 2 after placements. I am very much a player that needs to practice a lot with a hero to get a feel for their abilities, such as range, how much damage they do, how much damage I can take, etc. With not as much time to play as often as I have in the past, and the meta seeming to be constantly changing with balance patches and such, how would I go about adapting? The skill level in my league is pretty good, so generally, just being good at a hero doesn't make up for counters as it used to. Thanks for taking the time to read my question, and while I'm currently taking a midterm, night school sucks. I appreciate all the content you guys provide." Well, dude, good luck with your midterms. Sorry you're in night school. All right, Kyle, I'm going to pass it over to you in a second because I know this ties in pretty directly with the skill wall you have found yourself at. But before we travel up to Diamond, pressing on the ceiling, trying to get into Masters, let's check in with me in Gold League. So it sounds to me like Shyless he's on the right path. He's being very self-aware of himself and how much he needs to play heroes to be competent with them. And Kyle, I think he just needs to utilize that knowledge. What do you think?
I think that's true. You don't really need that big of a hero pool to succeed. And in fact, if you can do something cute that you think someone else won't be able to pull off or respond to, do it. There's a good chance that they won't have experienced it. And if the thing is really loud, like this week, much to my complete surprise, I carried a game in Diamond 2 as Gazlo. This game was going awful, awful. 3 levels down, finally get me to 10, and 3 gravel bombs later, we win that thing because they were awesome. And I was very proud.
That is fantastic.
Chen died, the enemy Chen died to my turrets because he had no idea what to do. He was standing in between 3 of them trying to drink it out. I charged a laser on his face and blew him away. He thought he could just stand there in the middle of it. And that was his lack of knowledge that I took advantage of. And basically that whole game was spiraled out by that exact element in the game.
Yeah. I really, because he was talking about adapting specifically. And when I hear that word, I think about the way my brain compartmentalizes that. And whenever I use that term, I think that I'm already in my hero. I'm already in my suit. I'm already in my mech. I'm already piloting it into battle. And there's nothing more I can do. So I wasn't thinking of it so much in terms of picks. I was thinking he's already stuck as a warrior, or stuck as a support, or stuck as an assassin, and things are going awry, and he just needs to adapt. So I mean, a lot of times in that case, you either need to start playing a different way, but the other thing you can do in Heroes of the Storm is you can pick different talents.
Yeah, and some heroes have much more diversity than others. That's why, despite her 49% win rate right now, I am all aboard the Li Ming train, because even as a first pick, and she's counterable, you have 3 very diverse specs that will play very differently. And based on the map, and even not based on just quick match, Li Ming is extremely powerful because you can make those choices. Greymane, though, going cocktail when you realize you have too many melee on your team is not always an option, and he has become a bad first pick.
You feeling okay in that world?
In that world, I'm doing okay. I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad because Raynor, I can't just jump back to Raynor for my auto attacks. It's just sort of out at the moment. Blinds are in, countering, low melees are in. I mean, really, when it comes to the Greymane problem is pretty easily addressed. If I'm Li Ming, I'm just going to poke you whenever I want. Greymane's beat by poke. That's why Thrall has always been so powerful. Here comes Greymane. Let's hit him with the lightning. Yes, that only took off 1/10 of his health, but he has no way to get that back. Thrall, Butcher, all those guys can deal, but Greymane can't. It's going to take a heal from a healer. That costs their mana, cooldown, resources, and Greymane pools a ton of resources to do what he does.
Yeah. So how much do you think you should study alternate builds? Because, a lot of players, myself included, I'm very guilty of this, they get very locked in to a certain build, but you can find yourself in those scenarios where it's like, well, I'm a solo support going into this game and we're being outdamaged. Should I go a wacky damage support build?
And sometimes you just put yourself in those because you're like, what could it hurt? There's a chance that this bizarre talent may pay off. If I absorb a spell on Zagara, I mean, Spell Shield is a great talent at 13. There's not really many other choices. You got 3. But there's always a chance, right? And that's kind of exciting. I'm not a very, superstitious man. But when it comes to Hero League, if something feels bad, I stop. And I just, that was a loss. Or if I'm queuing up, let's say I'm queuing up and the game drops. I'm like, that's my sign. The universe told me that I should not play more today. I will be losing all games from this point. And
where are you going with this?
I get the same way about talents. I fall in love with my talents, particularly if I feel my talents allow the hero that I'm building to have a very diverse and useful toolkit. And I want all these little pieces to make that toolkit. It's not a focus build. And sometimes I need to drop that really cute toolkit idea and go with something a lot more focused based on exactly what I'm fighting. And I don't because this toolkit build has won so many times, and now I've become superstitious about dropping that.
Fair enough.
And that's something you have to battle with yourself. It's your own ego. You got to counter because what if it messes up? What if someone says, Pyroblast on KT? What are you doing? And you're like, dude, it's great. It's great right now. What do you do? Just get in the know. It's great.
I'm so happy that is the voice of dissension for KT Pyroblast pick in your head.
We need that guy. I don't know if he's like a SCV Marine hero, but we need him in this game.
I'm here in the rear. with the gear.
That's what they say. Actual line.
That is exactly what they say. So any other tips for Shilas here before we move on?
I love what he says here about figuring out how much damage he can take, how much damage he can deal. These are all things that can be, for the most part, on some heroes, worked out in quick match. Like this week I had to pick up Zool. Zool is amazingly powerful right now. And particularly on Blackheart's Bay, if you do that top mid soak, you can give your team a huge level lead and easily take the keeps while they get busy at the turn-in. It's about trust, certainly. Doing that strategy, just soaking top and mid on Blackheart's Bay, is insanely easy. Anyone can do it. Knowing who you can 1v1 as Zool, though, is something that it took a lot of practice. And I had to stop hero leaguing and go take that Zool into quick match and just start dying. Just start 1v1ing people. Hey, there goes a guy. Get him. Let's see what happens.
Fight me.
Yeah, why not? I need to know that information to become a better Zool. And it's extremely important if you are going to carry.
That's really good point. That's how I've been learning Tyrael in quick match. I have really come around on my opinion of quick match, but for me, it serves a very specific purpose. And if that's not the purpose I'm chasing after, I don't play quick match. But hey, it's there, and it's helping me get better at this game. Also, Kyle, I love the idea of Zool running around a battleground, challenging everyone he sees to Makara. That's
basically what you do with Bone Prison, right? Hey, want to stand by me for a couple seconds, see if you win?
I wouldn't say necessarily, because other people can get involved in that. But
that's true. Well, in quick match, maybe not. But certainly, it is not an environment where you learn to team fight. And that is a huge part of the game.
Makara has got to be a heroic ability that comes in on some orc warrior at some point, right?
I hope so.
Just you, me, and no one else can enter the area.
What we have seen in the background of the Machines of War picture, which is real cool, everyone in their Starcraft skins, right next to Uther's hammer, there is the Blade Master flag sitting in the ground. It's very easy to find. Check it out. Clearly, he's coming.
It was a battle standard, I would argue.
That's true. And if he had an ability like that, I'd be very pleased. I have no idea what ultimate they're going to give him other than Blade Storm. But that's just him spinning. Would he just look like Sonya? Do they move away from Blade Storm? I have no idea.
I'm not sure, but now I want Marogar so we can yell Bone Storm.
He'd look cool. I'd play him in a heartbeat, of course. Love my monsters.
Yeah. He also has no legs. He just kind of floats around, so enjoy that. But we got another email, so let's go ahead and take that. Echoes wrote in. Echoes, wrote in. So I was watching some streams from Gamescom, poor you, featuring the new maps and heroes. I love what they have done to make the new maps feel very unique to the Nexus, but I was kind of hoping they would be thematically closer to the Eternal Conflict maps, i.e. good versus evil, but with the StarCraft races. This led me to the idea of having a 3-team map with each core being represented by each race. Do you think this would be a viable new way to play the game without it being some arcade mode style game in Arena? Would you need smaller teams, say 4v4v4 or 3v3v3? Or would you want just a giant map of mayhem? You're blowing my mind, Echoes. First of all, my gut reaction is I want a giant map of mayhem.
Which is what the Arena should be turning into.
If we ever get it.
It has not been talked about at Gamescom, though they have said that they want to make it more like Overwatch's Brawl.
Okay, I'm not interested. And that's fine. I wasn't interested to begin with. I'm much more interested in what was announced this week. That's what I want. I want more of that. I want more in my Hero League, in my Unranked, in my Quick Match. I just want to play heroes. I don't want to play some wacky version of it. That being said, I would be extremely interested in what Echoes is suggesting here.
Can you all chat in this?
You better be able to.
Oh, man, because I remember these sort of games in the StarCraft arcade going way back. Even Age of Empires. And if you had the settings set certain ways, when you had to like log into MSN gaming to play. Oh, my goodness, the things we went through.
Yeah. I don't think that you could have this in Hero League.
No. My main concern with this would be, let's get into a 3-team map and 2 teams say want to be friends. for a bit while we
You're
destroy
absolutely
the other guy.
That being said, I do like the idea of a big all caps Barons chat that's going on. But
Sure.
it'd be a lot easier to just get into cahoots and stomp.
Now that would be cool. A constant world that you could log into. Everyone's level 20 or something like that. You just have at the pit.
That is so not what I was recommending.
I know.
That's not where I was going with that. But no, this mode sounds really fun. This is something I think could be really fun for Arena. And it could be, and that does tie in to the way Overwatch handles Brawl, because it's something different each time. It's not all the same thing. When Arena was announced at BlizzCon last year, it looked like it would just always be a literal arena. And that's all you would ever play in. But I kind of like the idea of making it something where you go in and sometime maybe it will be some bizarre map like this where you have this asynchronous battle.
Or the soccer thing they did recently.
Yeah,
Lucio
which
Ball.
was super fun in Overwatch. I thought. I was disagreed with on Overwatchers, but I stand by it. I thought Lucio Ball was fun.
It's fun that those things exist, and it excites me that a company that is, there to make money is willing to put that many assets into something completely free. And it does take a lot, and that is why we are waiting on that arena mode still, because it is going to be its entirely own thing. And what we played at BlizzCon last year was reused assets.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So, in terms of making it more like the Eternal Conflict maps, I get why they're not necessarily, because in StarCraft, the line between good and evil isn't drawn as starkly, unless it was like all three races versus Naga, and it's kind of boring. I'm more interested in Zerg versus Terran versus Protoss. But, I mean, you have to have one side and another side if you're making a Moba map. So, I get it. I get why they had to kind of pick, okay, this is Zerg, this is Terran. Sorry, Protoss, next time.
I would sacrifice any sort of wacky versus mode for deadly bosses. Just like the swarm host and his 5 baby children, and you got to defeat them all in under 5 minutes.
So is that what you're suggesting for Arena?
That's what I want a little PvE action, right? At the end of the day, you're done fighting. You've got your friends on, maybe you lost 2 matches in a row. Let's go to this other environment where we can just sort of, still try hard, but chill and win with a little more reliability. End on that win, and not quite guaranteed, so you still feel good about it, but it is a bit easier.
Yep. Although you could just do what I do and open up StarCraft and play some co-op.
Yeah, or you could just verse AI if you really want to. Those AIs are actually getting okay.
They are. They learned how to gank, man.
Yeah.
Gank.
It was funny watching lots of, granted, it's the first time on the hero, right? But watching some people die at Gamescom.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess those were all on the floor, and people just were named their characters, so that was real people on those things.
Ooh, Echoes, who was in the chat room, just suggested Heroes Horde mode. Sign me up.
Oh, you mean like defend the point and waves and waves of things come?
Waves, man. It could be waves of other heroes from the game.
Oh, that'd be awesome. And bosses and everything else with it.
With minions, and you theme them in, like Arthas comes out, and there's just all these little skeleton minions running with them. And
prepare for the Scourge Wave, and then prepare for the Horde, and it's all themed and pretty. I'd like that.
That would be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You had different maps for the Horde mode, so you could go have one in Northrend, one in Stranglethorn Vale, one in Sanctuary, one in Hell, one in Heaven.
But let's remember the real reason why people play MOBAs. People like me. It's to see people run in fear. It's to be feared.
I thought you said, let's remember the reason people play MOBAs. People like me.
Oh, no, that was a comma, not the statement.
I know. But I just found that too amusing not to point out. I'm not sure anyone else found it as amusing as me, but
like the greatest joy in Hearthstone right now is destroying people who buy sets. That bought the huge packs of cards day one. You walk in with your month-old deck and you whip them. Those are the joys, and that's why MOBAs are great. It's about that verse. It's about people learning who you are over 15, 20 minutes and becoming afraid of you. And that's why I continue to play these games over and over again. So anytime something wacky comes up, Brawl, you got your all random mid. They will always take a backseat because it's not serious mode to me.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that the game needs this to survive or the game needs all of this to keep my interest. I'm saying the game would be even more fun. I would spend even more time in this game. I wouldn't log out and go to Starcraft, which maybe they don't care because it's the same team working on Starcraft.
Sure.
But really, I think just Blizzard wins because at this point, if I log out, chances are I'm logging into another Blizzard game.
Yeah, unless something new came out.
I am playing a bit of No Man's Sky.
Oh, you have? Okay. How are you feeling on that?
Well, I did a whole Angry Nerd episode about it.
Oh,
but
well, I guess people can go.
In short, I like it. It needs more.
That would be my expected reaction because you didn't do Minecraft at all, right?
I installed it. 14 hours later, I was still playing it. Looked at the time. I uninstalled it and never played it again.
So you walked away traumatized. You knew what that could be and said,
Yes.
I'm done.
I was also just getting out of raiding hardcore in World of Warcraft. So the timing, I was like, maybe I don't need to spend this much time playing video games. And then I tried Minecraft and I lost the whole day and I was just terrified. I was like, nope. There's no end to this game. At least in WoW, I can set these little goals. I can't set a goal for myself in this game. So I'm out.
Well, it does look better than Spore, so that's good.
That's not saying much.
No, Spore was though that first level, man, with all the little, when you're the little amoebas and stuff, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. You might like it, Kyle. I feel like you could like it because you have a active imagination. I feel like you could.
I'm good at setting my own goals.
Exactly. I think you would enjoy No Man's Sky. I'm having a good time with it. I would like to play it tonight before I go to bed. It's kind of like my before bed game.
Sure.
Kind of calm down, turn my brain off, just fly around and mine.
That is actually the exact statement I use when I play late night Abathur. Turn off the brain, fly around and mine.
Fly around and mine. Actually, you're 100% correct. You are absolutely correct.
Because I'm sick of body blocking.
Nice.
It's time to relax with some Abathur.
I get that every now and then. Mine is murky. I'm just like, all right, gloves are off. Time to just have fun. Time to place one circle as best as I possibly can. I love murky.
A game where everything's made up and the deaths don't matter.
Exactly. So if you didn't notice, we are winding down. That is because we are at the end of episode 122 of Into the Nexus. And it's time to start the outro. So thanks again to our badass patrons. Guys, it is still awesome. It is still unbelievable that so many of you are supporting us over on Patreon. So thank you to everyone over at patreon.com/ITN for supporting us. Thank you to our producers, Declan H. and Cheesy Bob, for going way beyond the extra mile to support us. Thank you to those of you who are leaving us 5-star reviews on iTunes. If you are listening to the show, or you're an iTunes user and you dig the show, drop us a 5-star review. This week, we wanted to thank Jubaiku, Jelly, number 11561. I'm assuming that's the battle tag. So Yelly with a Y. So Yelly. I'm assuming if you give your battle tag, you want people to know your battle tag. So there you go. And also, hashtag Josh, way to go and make a hashtag out of your own name, who said, I honestly started playing Heroes for the card back in Hearthstone, but then got addicted.
The system works.
The system works, indeed. It works so well. I love that card back. It's pretty.
It's a good one.
It's very pretty. So check out amove.tv for more of this show. If you want to catch the entire back catalog, iTunes, I think, only has the most recent 25 episodes, maybe the most recent 20. But if you want to catch all the old episodes, go to amove.tv or go to youtube.com/amovetv. We are live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv or on alphageekradio.com. Huge thanks to Gorath for our intro music. Huge thanks to Brian Griffith for our outro music. And Kyle, where can folks find you when you're not doing this specific show about Heroes? Because you've got a lot of Heroes content out there.
There is a lot of Heroes. If you would like to hear more, perhaps hyperbole, on what's going on in the climb, you can check out Solo Q&A. There is a podcast for it as well, thanks to the patrons of Solo QA. That is available on iTunes. Check out that show for more ramblings on Heroes of the Storm. This weekend, there will be limited streams, as I am rather busy, but there will be a bonus stream Sunday, starting at 1 o'clock. We'll be getting back to some duo queue action, and the gloves are off, man. It's time. I love tanking. It's my jam. And it protects my ego when I lose because, well, it wasn't all my fault. We had bad assassins. Now it's time to become the assassin, so look forward to Greymane, Li-Ming carry action with Gorath being support behind that Sunday.
Awesome. If you want to find me around the internet, check out my Twitter at GarrettArt. You can find my graphic design portfolio over at nomoonart.com. And I talk about Hearthstone on The Angry Chicken. I talk about Overwatch on Overwatchers. And recently I did an entire episode of The Angry Nerd all about No Man's Sky. And I wasn't alone. I brought my good friend Phil Kohler from Polygon. He wrote the review for No Man's Sky over at polygon.com. And he came on and we talked for about 40 minutes just all about No Man's Sky. I had a lot of fun doing that episode. So go check it out. The Angry Nerd. Or just go to amove.tv and find it. So hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Go to doghousesystems.com, use our code ITN, and you will get a free solid-state drive added to your gaming rig. You can also use the code ITN over at tweakedaudio.com to get 30% off and free shipping on your entire order of earbuds or earphones, whatever you want from Tweaked Audio. We thank them for their support. We thank you for listening, and until next week, good luck and have fun.
Take care.